talking about cities with buildings and artwork in them. He found the home of a goldsmith who sold jewelry. Now, the Plasticine Era, according to modern archaeologists, the Plasticine Era goes back to how far back? Approximately 11 million to 2 million years ago. You had cities in Mexico that William Nivens found in and around Mexico City. Materials that he wrote on these particular things and where you can find them. Again, this information is rare, brothers and sisters. You're not going to get this by just running down to the library. You're going to have to travel places to get this particular information. Some of it I have, and I make it available to the people who come to the classes in New York, so-called New York and so-called Philly and Shaker Maxim. We make these available, all right? One of the books is called Among the Mound Builders in Unexplored Guerrero, which is in Mexico. If you want to get this book, you can travel to Ohio at the Ohio Historical Society in Columbus, Ohio. That's the only place you're going to find this writing by William Nivens talking about these cities that are millions of years old, that were covered by volcanic ash, showing that they suffered a cataclysm that caused their ultimate demise. Another book is called Photographs from the Stele of Guerrero, Mexico, at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Now, I've been here and I've seen this book. And what he does is he shows the actual murals left on the walls of these particular cities that have been preserved. And on the murals, you see black people. Now, you're not supposed to see black people in cities that are buried under the mountains that are in the Plasticine era that are between 11 million to 2 million years old. You're not supposed to see this. But it's there in Mexico. So why are we trying to make the Olmecs as coming from Alkebulan or Africa when they themselves said where they came from, including their descendants, the Turushi, which we call the so-called Maya or the Amaru. They said where they came from. Now, I got bombed on this one. You had Sarah Sutanseti bombing me. You had Ishmael Allah bombing me, saying that Mu was a mythical city. When I have been to Mesoamerica and read the glyphs myself at the pyramid of Zaki Calco and other pyramids, where these particular people said that their descendants were from a landmass to the west of them that they call Mu. It's in the glyphs, been interpreted and translated several times by several different scholars. And not only that, these further records that I'm showing you verify it. And not only that, we provided the people with a map from Ica, Peru that showed these particular continents, which means somebody wanted to leave these records for us. All right. So another book that you can get on William Nivens is called Buried Cities and Forgotten Gods by Robert Wicks. And in this particular book, he goes through and breaks down his dig that he did in the Valley of Mexico, and he found 3 levels of cities, one in the Plasticine area and one in the Tertiary era. Now, the rabbit hole gets deeper, because when you calculate how old the Tertiary era is, you have a problem. The Tertiary era goes back 63 million years, according to modern archaeology. Now, this man, William Nivens, was considered one of the most renowned archaeologists of his time. And there's people like James Churchward and other New Agers who wrote books off of his information. But William Nivens, who was considered an orthodox archaeologist, made these findings and made these reports in these rare books that you can't get anywhere. You got to travel all across the United States to even see these particular books that I'm mentioning. Photographs from the state of Guerrero, Mexico in 1895, which is at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. That's the only place that you can find that particular book. And Among the Mound Builders in Unexplored Guerrero at the Ohio Historical Society in Columbus, Ohio, that's the only place that you can find that book. You will find depictions of what's in those books, again, in this book, Buried Cities and Forgotten Gods by Robert Wicks. And, of course, the city that I'm mentioning, they found bones of Homo sapiens in this particular city buried under volcanic ash in the Tertiary era 63 million years ago? Somebody speak to me. Somebody holler black at me. How did black folk depicted on the murals found the bones with the negroid genetic markers on the bones, which are reported by Nivens, in the Valley of Mexico 63 million years ago, with cities and buildings that got crumbled by some type of cataclysm? Talk black to me. So when we talk about these Amaru, and we talk about the Turushi, so-called Olmec, so-called Maya, 16.4 billion year calendar, cities before the mountains even developed on the earth, we have hard archaeological evidence that prove that we are the oldest people, not only on this landmass, but the oldest people on the planet, right here in the hells of North America, in the hells of Central America, in the hells of South America, calling ourselves Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Peruvian, African-American, completely denationalized, with no knowledge of self, and with nobody to bring us this information. So this is the purpose of the International Society of Indigenous Sovereigns and the various Moorish tribes, tribal governments that make it up, is to make this information available to you, the people who nobody loves, nobody want to tell you the truth, everybody want to make you their religious slave or scholastic slave with a new religion called Afrocentricity, or even Moors creating new religions when the prophet was a scientist studying history. Now you got to be a part of the Moorish Science Temple or some fake Marrakesh Empire in order to be a Moor. Please, you were born with that birthright, and all you have to do is organize yourself around the right information and then carry it on into your civic endeavors, and you will change the globe back to what it's supposed to be. All right? So, William Nivens, get your studying on. Going further, before I answer this call that's coming up, I want to talk about the radiocarbon dating, the dendrochronology, thermoluminescence dating, other types of dating, pneumonistics, potassium, argon dating. These are all so-called dating measures that white folks use to date things. Now I'm going to give you an idea of how erroneous these dating techniques are, and how if they don't know Aboriginal history, they can't date anything. When they want to test a monkey or a hominid like Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, you get a certain type of testing done on that particular animal, right? And that particular type of testing is called potassium argon dating, which, for those who want to make it simple, and through my study of anatomy and my specialization in the human body, I'm able to make this very simple for you so that you don't need 1,000-page books to understand this information. Potassium is an element in your body. Every cell in your body needs potassium. All right, you get potassium from your sea vegetables and other things. In the cell, you have what's called the sodium-potassium pump. Potassium is very alkaline. And when you have large amounts of potassium in the cell and you are kicking out the sodium, which is the waste, you keep the cell alkaline, which means it's healthy, it's strong. And then it has a proper charge on the membrane of the red blood cell or the skin cell or anything else. So high levels of potassium keep the field of energy around the cell healthy. Now, the potassium argon dating is a method to test how long it takes the mineral element potassium to decay into the mineral element argon. All right, which it takes, it would take a pretty long time to do that. All right, but keep this in mind. The earth and the cells of the body are the same.